Okay, let's go through the general musicianship questions for your Grade 2 ukulele exam with Rockschool. Musical knowledge questions. In Grade 2, you will be asked to identify the pitch name of notes. Now, if you are someone that only reads tablature, that could possibly be a hard question. The thing is, tab is really useful in certain ways, but the quicker you can learn to read music, the better. So even if it starts off with just doing rhythmic notation and doing those kind of things, there's some great apps out there that you can get for just practicing reading rhythm. And then also pitch. I'll put some links actually in the description of this video to a couple I use with my own students. Anyway, pitch names. I think you should presume that you can be asked anything within the book, say from the scales section. I don't think you'll be asked stuff that's really high using ledger lines or really low using ledger lines. So let's just start. There's a really simple way to do it in music. Okay, if I do these notes like this, just going up, we'll do notes upon the line. Okay, let's just put some stems on those. Okay, great. So these notes, you can think of this phrase, right? So you go, every green bus drives fast. Every green bus drives fast. So that's the actual notes that are on the lines. Every green bus drives fast. You can almost think of those lines as those notes. That is, of course, when you're in treble clef, and we are in treble clef with our ukuleles. So remember those. I'll put that nice and neat. Every green bus drives fast. So if I rub these out, I'm going to ask you, what is this note? You got it? Now, this is a B. Every E, green G, bus B, D is drives fast for F. Okay, so if I pointed at this one, what note would this be? E, that's correct. This one? G, B, D, and F. Okay, of course, they aren't the only notes. You have spaces between your lines, so let's just quickly draw this again. So you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, put our treble clef. And let's now do some notes that come in between the lines. Put our stems in. Okay, with this, we have a different phrase. What's this part of my body called? My face. Okay, so it's F, A, C, E. So just remember the word face. So this is an F, this is an A, this is a C, this is an E. F, A, C, E. Okay, now we could put those in between. It's a bit tight, isn't it? But okay, what note is this? F. What note is this? D. E. So you're going to go E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F. And of course you can keep going up. That could be G. Pardon me. And then you could go even further, so then you add an extra ledger line, and that's A. And it can come down as well, okay? So we could go back one. We're going to run out of space here. This could become D, okay? And you just keep going down or up depending on whatever you're doing. Okay, the meaning of the time signature mark. Now, funny enough, in grade 1 you were just identifying it, but actually in that video, if you did that grade and you watched my videos, I explained this already, but let's just do it again. So you can have multiple time signatures, different types of time signatures. You could have 4/4, you could have 3/4, 6/8, 12/8, 2/4, and so on. Lots of different ones, 7/8, 5/8, whatever you need, that's what you can have. Now, the simplest way to explain this, and the answer they will be looking for without going into too much detail, is that the top number here tells me how many beats. So how many beats there are in each bar, each measure, okay? So if it was 4/4, and we had a bar line here and a bar line here, I could have 4 beats in this bar and 4 beats in this bar. The bottom number, though, is really important. It tells me how long each beat is. Okay? Top number, how many beats in the bar? Bottom number, how long is each beat? Okay? So if you think of it like a fraction, okay, this is common time. Common time is the most common time signature we use in music. That's 4/4. So all these rhythms that they're asking in the next question, can you identify a whole note, a half note, a quarter note, an eighth note, and a 16th note? Those names are derived from common time 4/4. Okay, now 4/4 can be thought of, we're going a little overboard here in explanation, but it's useful for you to learn, would be 4 quarter notes in a bar, 4 quarter note beats. That means I can have up to 4 quarter notes in a bar. However, I could also have 8 eighth notes in that bar, because 8 eighth notes equals the same amount of time as 4 quarter notes, okay? Or you could have 2 half notes, so we could have this. Or we could just have 1 whole note. Or, of course, you could have any combination of notes, as long as when you add up their rhythms, they equal 4/4, 4 quarter note beats in a bar. That works the same way for every other time signature. Just work out how many beats there are in the bar and how long each beat is, and then you can work out how many notes you can have. Okay, so then they're saying whole note, half note, quarter note, eighth note, 16th note. Let's just clean this. So that's really simple. This is a whole note, okay? In classical music, you'd call that a semi-breve. A minim has a circle with a stem coming up, or a circle with a stem coming down. That's a half note. Yeah, or it can be called a minim. I won't bother doing both stem directions. This is now called a quarter note, okay? So quarter note. If you wanted to do a quaver, which is an eighth note, it would look like that. You'll often see them joined together, say in groups of 2 or groups of 4, like this. Makes it much easier to read as a musician. So this one here equals an eighth note, or group of eighth notes, depending whether you're doing a single, double, or quad. Okay, and then they also want you to identify a 16th note, semiquaver. Okay, again, that would often be grouped in 2s, 4s, that kind of thing. Yeah? Great. Okay, so now they want you to do rest values. I think that you should presume that for every note length, you need to know the rest value. So let's just put them next to each other. You already know how long that is. That's a whole note. Okay, and if you were to look at the music to find a rest of the equivalent, it would be here, hanging off the ceiling. Okay, that's a whole note rest. A minim, on the other hand, or a half note rest, is sitting on the line. Okay, if I filled that in and I wanted to do a quarter note rest, it would look like this. It's kind of, if you put it sideways like that, it looks like a little mountain range symbol. If you want to do an eighth note rest, okay, then you get this symbol. Looks like a little 7 with a little tiny little I was going to say circle, but you know what I mean. Sphere on top, whatever. Okay, and if it's a semiquaver rest, it would have 2 of those on it. Okay, like that. So I would try and find all of those in your music, make sure you know what they are, and then that'll be good. Okay, moving on to chord construction. You need to know the construction of a major and a minor chord. Okay, so in chord construction we're going to use Roman numerals. Okay, and underneath we'll do the same again. In fact, it's minor. Let's just use the lowercase. Great. Okay, now let's pretend it's the chord of C. So our note would be C, then an E, and then a G. Well, if we made it, this is C major, okay? This would be C minor. If we made it C minor, it would have to change to C, E flat, and G. So what's the difference? The difference is between a major and minor chord that the third is a flattened third. Now, we can tell that. One, you want to be able to tell it by just audibly listening to it, but the theory behind it is that the distance between the root note and the third is 4 semitones, and the third and the fifth is 3 semitones, okay, when we're doing a major chord. When we come to a minor chord, these are swapped round. So this becomes 3 semitones, and this becomes 4 semitones, okay? So we can show that really easily. If we pick up our ukuleles, put down an A minor chord, okay? So here we go, just with this note. Now, if we wanted to do that, and we wanted to raise it to an A chord, we raise this note here by a semitone. So instead of having a C natural, we now get a C sharp, okay? And then we get A major. There we go, nice and easy. Last part is instrument knowledge. You've got to name 3 of the following parts on your ukulele, so the examiner might just say, tell me where the neck is. The neck is this part, don't forget. Okay, back. The fretboard is the front. We can see that when we look down the side, it's 2 separate bits of wood. The fretboard actually is joined onto the neck and all the way here onto the body of our ukulele. So that's the fretboard. Neck is the back. Fretboard is the top. We've got the body. Well, that's pretty obvious. Tuning pegs, these things, you should know what those are now because that's how you tune. Hopefully you know how to do that by now. The nut, that is this. Bridge, that is this. Sound hole, this. Okay? Names of all the open strings, well, I always remember it from family names, okay? So my brother is called Graham, and my son is called Eden, so it's Graham caught Eden's apple. Graham caught Eden's apple. Okay? Graham caught Eden's apple, and then take the first letter from each of those. So G, C, E, A. And that is your tuning for standard tuning ukuleles. Cool! That is everything. Good luck in your exam. See you in the next grade.